welcome to the final score of the season. And after all the twists and turns, it all comes down to this. Chelsea beat Wigan today and the title is theirs. Les Ferdinand, Gary Pallister and Garth Crooks haven't always got it right this season, but they've been jumping out of their seats with excitement today because all eyes are on Stamford Bridge. Roger Johnson is there for us. The men in blue lining up against the men in orange, but no alliance. It's one-way traffic.
It is. It's Chelsea 6, Wigan 0. The team in blue, very much the favourites coming into the Premier League's final day contest, with the Reds in Manchester hoping for an unlikely turnaround in the expected outcome. Unlike the vagaries of the ballot box, though, Gabby, there was nothing uncertain in the Premier League title race. 2 from Anelka, a Lampard penalty and a Kalou tap-in set the stage for Chelsea to convert their 100th Premier League goal of the season. Didier Drogba, stropping in the first half, brought up the century with the header which gave him the edge in the race for the Golden Boot. He's just added another from the spot. Wigan down to 10 men since the 32nd minute in something akin to Lib Dem Orange have been inadvertent kingmakers here, because this result is in no doubt. It's Chelsea 6, Wigan 0.
Thank you, Roger. Let's go to Damien Johnson now at Old Trafford. Manchester United knew it wasn't in their hands. They just got to get the win and hope for a miracle. It hasn't happened.
No, Manchester United 3, Stoke 0. United have kept up their end of the bargain, but the replica Premier League trophy that's here, should there need to be a presentation, won't be needed. Goals from Darren Fletcher, Ryan Giggs and a known goal from Danny Higginbottom reflect United's superiority on the day. There have been anti-Glazer family protests as well here. A smoke bomb let off before the game outside the ground. United heading for victory, but they're going to have to settle for second place in the Premier League.
And it does sound a little bit flat there, doesn't it? They're not used to this, are they? Having it out of their hands on the last day, Manchester United. And Chelsea, you know, we kind of hope they might leave it late to get their win. 6 minutes in, Anelka gets the goal, and they've looked comfortable ever since.
Well, I think we had the excitement yesterday at Ellen Road. Today, I think it wasn't a matter of, you know, will Chelsea win? It was about the performance. And they've got 100 goals. Drogba now looks like he's going to be the Golden Boot award winner, and why not? And it's been a bit of a party.
I've got a goal to tell you about at Turf Moor, and a great comeback, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, extraordinary scenes. Spurs were 2 up here inside half an hour and coasting. Early on Bale, then Modric brilliantly, but Burnley have fought back. And now it's been completed with Martin Patterson's goal. Prior to that, Elliott and Cork had given them some hope. Now they've given them reason to celebrate at the end of a rather miserable end to the season. There's smiles on Burnley faces now, and they're looking rather glum over to my right in the Spurs section. It's Burnley 3, Spurs 2.
What's going on? First half Champions League, second half non-league.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we got off to a great start, you know, couple of goals, and we looked like we were coasting, you know. Modric and I think scored a great goal and looked like we were going to coast the game, and unfortunately come out at half-time. Well, in fact, we didn't come out at half-time. Burnley came out at half-time. They got a goal just before the half-time whistle, and they've come out and they've been the better side in the second half, and pains me to say this, thoroughly deserve to be back in the game. Thoroughly deserve.
And it's all the spoils at the moment going at Stamford Bridge. Wayne Rooney and Didier Drogba started the day neck and neck on 26 goals for the Golden Boot. Didier Drogba now 2 goals to the good. So it's looking like he's going to get that Golden Boot. Thank goodness, quite frankly, because there was a bit of a strop on, wasn't there?
I don't think he'd have been joining the celebrations tonight if he hadn't scored the goals to give him the Golden Boot. But he's had a fantastic season. I think we all more or less picked him in the team of the year, Drogba and Rooney. They've been the outstanding centre forwards there, and I mean, it must be a nightmare to play against.
Yeah, well, they've got up to 100 goals now at Chelsea this season, and Didier Drogba has got 28% of them, and it's looking like the Golden Boot is his. Let's go to the Emirates, though, now. Mark Bishop there for Arsenal's match against Fulham, and they've had a terrible last month to the season, but today they knew that if they didn't get a win, and Tottenham did, they'd lose third place. It seems to have kind of kicked them into gear a bit, Mark.
Yes, it does, Gabby. Arsenal 3, Fulham 0, but just thinking about Roy Hodgson's side, you can't make 8 changes to your team and expect to get something at the Emirates. Hodgson deciding to change nearly his entire first choice 11 ahead of next Wednesday's Europa Cup final. He's paid the price against a rampant Arsenal here this afternoon. Arshavin, Van Persie, an own goal from Chris Baird. Van Persie has hit the post, Walcott has hit wide. It really is a formality as Wenger's side now will finish in that all-important third place. A let-off again for Fulham. Pansel, they just returned to injury. He was replaced by Kelly, who clearly tripped a buoy, but astoundingly the referee, Mike Jones, booking a buoy for simulation. Dempsey thought he should have had a penalty when Campbell appeared appeared to impede him in the penalty area. In the end, Dempsey booked for dissent, and Fabianski has escaped a red card, clearly handling outside his area after good work from David Elm. Arsenal are coasting, though, and the lead by 3-0.
If Bolton didn't win today, it would be their lowest ever, second lowest ever points tally in the Premier League. They're going well at the moment, though, and even better, I'm hearing, James Mason at the Reebok.
Sorry, Gabby, you come to me as there's a slight confusion whether a goal's just been given or not. In fact, I can confirm it has gone to Birmingham. They had a penalty. Zat Knight was a judge to have fouled Christian Benitez, who's just come on as a substitute. Benitez took the penalty. It was saved. He had a second effort, which was saved. And James McFadden has just put the ball in. I'm just watching a replay now. It's gone to McFadden. So, yes, it's now Bolton 2, Birmingham 1.
Sorry, I thought the goal was for Bolton. 2-1 there. Let's go to Molineux, though, where another goal has gone in. Jackie Oatley.
And Wolves have just taken the lead for the first time in the game. It was Ronald Zubar who went racing down the right-hand side. He squared for Adlen Guedior in the centre. He controlled the ball and let fly left-footed, and it tucked inside the right-hand post of Craig Gordon, who's been outstanding today. Guedior's first goal for Wolves, and he looks to be heading for the World Cup with Algeria as well. Wolves 2, Sunderland 1.
And if they win, that would take them, as things stand, to 15th place in the table. It's their first win in 7 as well, ending with a flourish there. David Garrido's at Upton Park. West Ham looking to end the season with 3 wins on the bounce. How's that aim going at the moment, David?
Not sure they'll get it, Gabby. 1 apiece at the moment against Manchester City. An entertaining game, which could well be Gianfranco Zola's last in charge of the Hammers. They took the lead with a typically Zola-esque strike. Alessandro Diamanti with a cheeky back heel. Luis Spermorte clipping the ball past the onrushing Martin Phillip on his return to the side after a year out. Very stylish indeed. But you'd have got decent odds on this for City's equaliser. A Sean Wright-Phillips header, leaping high to plant it past Rob Green from Adam Johnson's cross. Johnson, by the way, has been a constant threat on that right flank. Should have had a penalty from one jinking run from another set-up, Emmanuel Adebayor, who forced a reflex save from Rob Green. Diamanti striking the foot of a post too. And also, just to mention, Carlos Tevez has just been given a standing ovation after coming on as a sub for the visitors. West Ham 1, Man City 1.
Not much to play for at the KC Stadium this afternoon, but Pepe Reina is level with Petr Cech for a Golden Glove award. And Andrew James, not being facetious, but you've got to take what you can as a Liverpool fan, haven't you?
Yes, it's not been very good for them at all. The Golden Glove is within his sights. It could well be a clean sheet, could well be 0-0. Aquilani replaced a few moments ago, Gabby, to cries of what a waste of money, and many of those were from the Liverpool fans, I have to say. They missed a couple of good chances early on in the game, but Hull have been good with their young players. But just to say, Gabby, goal of great significance, that one at Burnley, you know, because it moves Burnley above Hull City in the Premier League table. They go level on points, but they'll also level on their goal difference. So then it goes to goals scored. Burnley now on 42, Hull on 34. That means it could cost Hull City £800,000, money they can ill afford with administration still looming. Hull City 0, Liverpool 0. Extra incentive for a goal there at the KC Stadium then. Let's go to Old Trafford. Fabio Capello is at Stamford Bridge this afternoon, but when he hears this, I don't think it's good news, is it, Damien Johnson?
Yeah, England fans, hold your breath. Wayne Rooney has just gone off holding his groin. He played a through ball to no one in particular, it has to be said. It went out of play. Looked towards the bench rather disconsolately, walked towards the bench. He wasn't limping, but he was holding his groin. He's sitting on the bench now with his tracksuit on. Don't know the extent of the injury, obviously, at this stage, or whether it's just a little twinge. He felt he'd had enough. The game was up, and he decided to take a breather. But he certainly held his groin as he walked to the touchline. Rooney out of the game, and United out of the title race.
Rooney's groin, that was obviously one of the injuries, you know, that he's had in the run-up to the end of the season that kept him out of Europe. But what did it look like, Gary? How serious was it?
You see him sort of grimace, and he gestures towards the bench, waves that he wants to come off, and then you just see him holding his groin as though he's just... Well, the way he sort of held it, you think as though he's just tweaked something. Hopefully it's not too bad.
He signalled to the bench, didn't he?
He just actually, as soon as it happened, yeah, he did signal.
He just ran past somebody.
OK, I've got some more goal news at Stamford Bridge, and Roger Johnson, is it the Golden Booter?
It is the Golden Boot boy. He's got a hat-trick on the afternoon, the 7th for Chelsea there, 102nd of the season. The ball across from Joe Cole. Pollock got a hand onto it. Drogba hasn't scored many more simple, I suspect. That is 29th in the Premier League this season. Almost apologetically stuck it in from 6 yards out. The party well and truly underway at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea about to be crowned champions, leading Wigan 7-0.
And they now join Wigan, an illustrious list of Sunderland, Aston Villa and Stoke, of teams who've all been thrashed by 7 goals at Stamford Bridge. Let's go to Villa Park. Aston Villa at home today, and no 7-goal thrashings there, Robbie Bailey. What kind of performance?
No, it has been disappointing up front, no doubt about that, Gabby. 9 minutes to go. Villa are looking the most likely to score at the moment. They're, of course, trying to secure their 3rd successive top 6 finish. But 3 chances for Villa in the first half, all really well saved by Paul Robinson, who I reckon should have a shout for Fabio Capello's England team for South Africa. But Stephen Warnock may not be an option for Capello. He limped off injured just before the end of the first half, and so that's a bit of a worry for him on options. Apart from that, a tale of 2 penalties. David Dunn definitely tripped by James Collins, which could well have put Blackburn ahead, but John Carew at the other end, I reckon, was tripped by Christopher Samba, so it may have levelled itself up. As it is, still 0-0.
Let's check in with John Rawling at Goodison Park. Anything going on there you want to tell us about, John?
Not a huge amount, I'm afraid. Just over 10 minutes remaining. It's Everton 0, Portsmouth 0. Everton dominated the first half. Arteta, Rodwell, Pienaar and Sahar all with scoring opportunities. But since half-time, Portsmouth have looked the more likely. Frederick Piquion got past Tim Howard to the byline, back to O'Hara, found Anthony van den Boer on the far post, who had the ball in the net. The referee's assistant said offside. Portsmouth fans, who had a great view from the visitors' area of the ground, were absolutely incensed, but no goal and no goals in the match. 0-0.
Let's go to Molineux. Jackie Oatley is sending off there to tell us about. Who's it gone to?
Yeah, Sunderland are down to 10 men. Centre-half Michael Turner has been sent off for his 2nd bookable offence. He clipped the heels of Matt Jarvis, who was racing down the left wing, having been booked in the first half for a crude challenge from behind on Kevin Doyle. And it could have been more bad news for Sunderland just now. A fantastic cross from centre-half Christophe Berra inside the penalty on the left-hand side was headed over the bar by substitute Chris Iwelumo at the far post when he had the goal at his mercy. Wolves 2, Sunderland 1.
Goal news at the Emirates. Mark Bishop, is it a comeback, a late one for Fulham?
Not at all, Gabby. Arsenal 4, Fulham 0. Hardly the preparations for Roy Hodgson's side going into next Wednesday's Europa Cup final. It's been a stroll in the park for Arsenal. We've just seen the 4th score by substitute Carlos Vela, carving the Fulham back 4 apart yet again, this time chipping the ball over Mark Schwarzer or Shavin. Van Persie, an own goal from Chris Baird, did the damage earlier on. It's been a Sunday afternoon stroll in the park for Wenger's side. They've clinched that all-important 3rd place in the Premier League. The visitors hampered by that decision, a bad one from Roy Hodgson, to make no less than 8 changes to his first choice 11. Fulham's 3rd season out of the last 5 with just 1 away league victory to show for it. 4-0 to the Arsenal.
And it's looking like a stroll in the park for Manchester United as well, Damien Johnson.
Yeah, they've got a 4th, Ji-Sung Park, the substitute who replaced Wayne Rooney a few moments ago. It was a corner on the left-hand side from Ryan Giggs. The ball missed by Nani, hit the deck on the 6-yard box, reared up, and there was Ji-Sung Park at the far post to head it in. 4-0 now, United.
And a goal at Villa Park, Robbie Bailey.
Well, at last. I felt a bit left out, Gabby, but they finally got a goal. But not Villa, Blackburn. And this was a goal, an own goal from Richard Dunn. He was trying to stop Jason Roberts' score. He got in front of him, and I think the last touch came off Dunn. A really good cross from Blackburn. They have threatened in the second half, and I think they got the feeling after that first half that if they had a go here, they could score. And they are winning, and what that means is if Villa finish 7th, it means they'll be playing Europa League football in July. They didn't want to, but they might have to. It's Villa 0, Blackburn 1.
And a great end to the season for Blackburn Rovers as well. And we're going to show you some scenes now from pre-match at Old Trafford. There was a very well-organised anti-Glazer campaign, obviously all season, but today it's come to a head with a very big demonstration. The green and gold demonstrators were out in force, very vocal. They have been inside the ground as well, letting off a few flares and obviously not getting in any way violent, but very, very vocal, Pally. And all season long there have been this rumblings, fans not happy. Has it affected at all, do you think, the on-pitch performance?
No, I don't think it is. And I think the manager made it clear early on in the season that, you know, voice your rights of opinion, you know, this protest with the green and gold scarves, but don't bring it into the ground, don't let it affect the players. It obviously has today. You know, they probably thought once they've heard the Chelsea score that they weren't, you know what I mean, that they'd vent their anger. But it's something that they won't go away. They're not happy with the Glazers.
And there was a point in the season, though, that Sir Alex Ferguson felt moved enough to write it in his pre-match notes, didn't he? And said, look, let's get behind the team, let's try and put that to one side.
But he did say, you know, if that's your opinion, you want to voice it and do it in the right way, and they have done for most of the season. Today, when they've probably, you know, heard that they're not going to win the title, they've voiced it in the stadium itself, and it's a problem that doesn't seem to be going to go away.
OK, well, two teams who'd like to be in the Premier League next season played their first leg playoff match today at lunchtime, in fact, at the Walker Stadium. And we've got the highlights now for a little bit later, actually, on the red button. But Conor McMara saw the action.
Cardiff City dominated this semi-final first leg. In the first half, two big chances for Michael Chopra. One flashed across the face of goal, the other came back off the post. Leicester did not play well for the first 75 minutes, and it took the opening goal for Cardiff by Pete Whittingham to really rock them into shape. Whittingham's free kick, left-footed over the wall and in off the post, was the cue for Leicester City to really get into their stride. But no equaliser for them to the end. A really important save from David Marshall, the Cardiff goalkeeper, from virtually the last kick of the game, means that Cardiff have advantage going into the second leg, and that save from Marshall every bit as important as the goal from Whittingham at the other end.
And you can, on the red button a little bit later, see the highlights from that match. Let's go back to Stamford Bridge, though, because Roger Johnson, Petr Cech is just hanging on at the moment to his share of the Golden Glove with Pepe Reina, I think. Wigan going for it a little bit.
That's right, Gabby. It's the first save that Petr Cech's really had to make, to be honest, but it was a good one from Victor Moses, who tested him. Moses, one of the substitutes on for Wigan, who, in fairness, although a 7-0 scoreline will quite rightly suggest that Chelsea have won at a canter, were very much in it when they still had 11 men on the pitch. But the sending off of Gary Caldwell, which resulted in the penalty which led to Chelsea's second goal, undoubtedly put paid to any hopes of an upset here. And Cech has been largely a bystander. That's the first save he's been called upon to make. Chelsea pressing, looking for an 8th. At the moment, it doesn't really matter because they're winning 7-0.
I don't think that's going to change. Ivan Gaskell at Turf Moor. Tottenham don't want to finish the season with a loss, do they? Pressing for an equaliser.
Yes, Burnley 3, Spurs 2 is still the scoreline inside the last 5 minutes here at Turf Moor. And you do wonder, and Les may be able to give us some inside information on this, how long the Spurs celebrations lasted midweek, because this second half they do seem to have tired a little. Having said that, having gone 3-2 down and had a really wobbly spell in the middle of this game, they have hit the woodwork twice. The latest, Ledley King hitting the bar from a header. All three of these Spurs subs are on. Gudjonson's just replaced Crouch, and Blake came on for Burnley to an absolute hero's welcome. They're like Blake around here. It's Blake's 11, Burnley 3, Spurs 2.
Oh, we just got it, Ivan. Well done. Let's go to Old Trafford. Damian Johnson. It's the dying moments of Manchester United's 3 years. They've held the Championship and won the Premier League, but it's going elsewhere this time.
Absolutely, 40-odd seconds remaining of normal time on the clock here. 4-0, comfortable on the day for United against a backdrop of anti-Glazer protests, but most significantly an injury to Wayne Rooney. Still don't know the extent of it. Went off clutching his groin. Didn't look in particular pain, and he walked without any kind of obvious limp. So that is a good sign. As United speculatively try a free kick with Ryan Giggs, comfortably saved by Begovic in the Stoke goal. 4-0. But it's academic now.
Yeah, and as things stand, and I think it's fair to say they will stand in a few minutes' time, Chelsea will finish on 86 points and Manchester United on 85 points, a point in it, and a week where it all fell apart. And Fergie said that's the week where, you know, the title was lost. How will he feel tonight? Is he quite kind of philosophical about these things after the event?
No, I mean, he'd be very flat. He'd be disappointed. He'd be disappointed that they've lost 7 games this season. And I'm sure, you know, even if they'd won the title, I still think he'd been looking at his side and thinking we've just fell short of what's needed at Manchester United. I think Chelsea will be doing exactly the same. I think both teams need tinkering with because they haven't been as outstanding as they've been in previous seasons when they've won the title. So I think the wheels are already in motion. He'll be looking at transfer targets that he wants to bring in during the summer.
The wheels have come off Spurs, by the way. Let's go to Turf Moor. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, there's just a couple of minutes of normal time left here, and Burnley have scored a 4th goal here. Who'd have thought it? Now, there's just a bit of debate as to who got the final touch. I think Wade Elliott it is that tried to claim it. It was his shot from some 25 yards or so, but a man who's just been on the pitch around about 45 seconds, Steve Thompson, I think is claiming his very first touch, has scored a goal, and I think he's right. Burnley 4, Spurs 2.
They did beat you the last time, by the way, at Turf Moor, but that was in 1978. OK, let's go to Roger Johnson at Stamford Bridge. Another goal.
8-0. It's Ashley Cole this time. It's becoming a real rout, Gabby. Good work by Joe Cole on the right-hand side in a real tussle to try and get the cross in. The Wigan defenders trying to stop him doing it, eventually dinked it up. Ashley Cole at the far post blasted it in past Mike Pollitt from around 12 yards out. 8-0 now for Chelsea.
And that gives them a goal difference of +71, which is a top-flight record of all time, even pre-Premier League records. Full-time whistle, though, at Old Trafford. Damien Johnson, it's all over. Second place is theirs.
Yes, United kept up their end of the bargain, Gabby, with a routine victory, but there's concern over England striker Wayne Rooney with a World Cup looming. Rooney left the field towards the end holding his groin. The game was played out, by the way, against a backdrop of anti-Glazer family protests. A smoke bomb let off outside Old Trafford before kick-off. Darren Fletcher and Ryan Giggs put United in control before half-time. Danny Higginbotham's own goal and Ji-Sung Park's late-headed fourth made it really comfortable. Van der Sar pulled off a couple of excellent saves in the second half, but it was academic. No need for the replica Premier League trophy which they brought to Old Trafford in the event of a trophy presentation. But tonight, the concern is for Wayne Rooney.
We'll bring you news on that just as soon as we have it. But let's go to the KC Stadium. Andrew James can report on full-time there.
Yes, it's all finished. Hull City's Premier League journey has come to an end, with hope and optimism of a trio of young players to look forward to in the future. But the results and Burnley's win over Spurs means that Hull dropped to second bottom at a cost of almost £800,000. Money the administration-threatened club can ill afford to lose. Liverpool were poor and squandered the few chances they had to win the match. Aquilani, the £20 million man, substituted. They gave a debut in the last 5 minutes to 16-year-old Jack Robinson, the youngest player ever to represent Liverpool in a league game. But as the top four march on, Liverpool fans will take little comfort from knowing they have a good youth system, and those scenes at the end won't help either, as Gerrard tried to make his way to salute the Liverpool fans, but without an escort from stewards, it could have turned nasty. It hasn't, and it finished Hull City 0, Liverpool 0.
And at Molineux, Wolves, a rare win. Jackie Oatley.
Yes, Wolves 2, Sunderland 1 at finish. Let's all have a disco as the chants coming from the South Bank, as Wolves sealed only their 5th home win of the season and only their 12th and 13 goals here. They could have won by more in the end. The first half was an even affair, open and entertaining with some crunching challenges. Kenwyne Jones' strike took a heavy deflection off Jody Craddock for the opener. Kevin Doyle soon levelled from the penalty spot after Hutton had upended Jarvis. And in the second half, chances for both sides before Adlen Guediora scored his first goal for the club after good work by Ronald Zubar down the right. Guediora let fly left-footed from inside the D. But late on, Sunderland had 2 players sent off, Michael Turner and substitute Jack Colback, each receiving their second yellow card of the game. Wolves 2, Sunderland 1.
And it's all over at Stamford Bridge. The long journey which starts at the beginning of August. They've been neck and neck with Manchester United, but on the final day, the title is theirs. Roger Johnson.
It's finished Chelsea 8, Wigan 0, 103 goals in the season, the Premier League's top scorer, a first title in 4 years, and one half of what could be Chelsea's first League and Cup double. It was never in doubt, but Didier Drogba, frustrated and feisty in the first half, hit a 17-minute second half hat-trick to reach 29 goals for the season and start the celebrations here. The team in blue, champions-elect going into this contest, won by a landslide. It's not always so straightforward, as we know, but the party has started. Chelsea are the champions, courtesy of an 8-0 victory over Wigan.
Well, we thought perhaps it was going to be tough for Wigan to spoil the party. They didn't even get close, Garth. Chelsea set about their business and demolished them today, and the title is theirs and well deserved.
Well, I suppose they often say the league table doesn't lie. I mean, Petr Cech, probably ties with Pepe Reina for the clean sheets, best number of clean sheets of the year. Drogba gets a number of awards, scores his hat-trick, 100th Chelsea goal, Golden Boot Award winner, and Chelsea get the title. The question now, to finish it off, can win the FA Cup and beat Portsmouth. If they can, it'll crown a great season and will make up for the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it, you know, for a while. This is what their owner wants. Abramovich ploughing his millions in there because he does want to win the Champions League, but in a really hard-fought Premier League season with Manchester United, that must feel very satisfying too.
Yeah, and he also wanted to see his teams playing more expansive football, which means more goals and more entertainment. When you score 100 league goals in the Premiership, that tells you that his team's done that. So they have been the best team this season. United have pushed them all the way. But yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling for the Chelsea players right now. They'd have been nervous going into this game today. They got the early goal, they got the penalty shortly afterwards, which settled all the nerves, and they just went on to enjoy a goal feast against the poor Wigan side that capitulated once again. But a great feeling. It's the season's hard work come to the end, and we've got something to show.
Well done, Carlo Ancelotti. He doesn't run on the pitch, does he, and set the sprinklers off. He doesn't run around and kind of laud it up, but he deserves the praise.
No, he certainly does, Gabby. You know, they spoke about him coming to win the Champions League. He's not managed to do that this season, but he's done the next best thing. He's won the league. He's got a chance of winning the FA Cup as well, and that would set history for Chelsea as well. So, you know, he's in the history making for Chelsea as it stands at the moment, and hopefully next season we may get some funds to spend, and they'll go on from there.
OK, let's just go to Gudgin Park. A late goal for John Rawlings to tell us about.
Well, a quite extraordinary goal here, Gabby. Watch this one if you get the chance. It came to Diniar Biliatdinov in the 3rd minute of time added on. He was fully 25 yards out. He hit it first time, left-footed, and curled past Jamie Ashdown's right hand into the right-hand corner rather of the goal. Brilliant effort from Biliatdinov, and Everton getting the victory and undefeated now in 11 matches, their best record in 24 years, and the final whistle's gone. It's finished Everton 1, Portsmouth 0.
It kind of sums up Portsmouth's season, doesn't it, conceding a goal like that in the last few moments of extra time. Let's go to the Emirates. Mark Bishop, full-time whistle has gone there, and Arsenal didn't limp out, but Fulham, well, they'll be a little bit worried looking ahead to their Europa Cup final with that performance.
That's right, Gabby, all over the place. Arsenal 4, Fulham 0. They're in the Europa Cup, but Roy Hodgson paid the price by making 8 changes to his first-choice 11 in this London derby. 60,000 Arsenal fans sat back and licked their lips in anticipation as they heard the teams announced on the tannoy. Arshavin back from injury made it 1-0. The excellent Van Persie made it 2, hitting home on the rebound after striking the crossbar. Fulham's back 4 all over the place. A Keystone Cops moment again. Baird putting through his own net under pressure from Aboué. More goals had to come. A cheeky, calm lob from substitute Carlos Vela made it 4-0. Wrapping up Arsenal's season on a high note. Automatic qualification to the Champions League group stage next season. 4-0 to the Arsenal.
Let's go to Turf Moor now, and Ivan Gaskell, final whistle has gone there.
Yes, and Burnley have won it. A lovely way for them to sign off after a testing campaign, a rather anticlimactic way for Spurs to complete an otherwise tumultuous week. Spurs were reaching for the cigars as Bale and brilliantly Modric gave them a 2-goal cushion after half an hour, but Burnley dredged up a little Lancashire Bulldog spirit. Elliott, Cork, Patterson and Sub Thompson scored as Burnley mounted a momentous comeback, a grandstand finish. Burnley down, but clearly not out. Burnley 4, Spurs 2.
And David Garrido at Upton Park, where it's the final whistle has gone. There's the final whistle gone on Gianfranco Zola's West Ham career. That shall be seen.
Yes, you suspect it has, Gabby. West Ham 1, Man City 1. Zola facing crisis talks with Hammers owners David Gold and David Sullivan on Tuesday, we understand. And if this is his last game in charge, well, at least it was entertaining fare. The opener from his side created by Alessandro Diamante's back heel, Luis Bermorte with a dink finish. But City were always a threat going forward too. The impressive Adam Johnson crossing with his weaker right foot for Sean Wright-Phillips to leap and head home. Plenty of other chances to win the game for both sides, notably for subs Guillermo Franco for West Ham and Carlos Tevez for Man City. A point apiece, a fair result. Roberto Mancini's job at Eastlands looks safe, but for Zola, there's an anxious few days ahead. Final score, West Ham 1, Man City 1.
And it's all over at Villa Park as well. A disappointing way for Aston Villa to end their season, but well done Sam Allardyce and his boys. Robin Bailey.
Yes, Villa 0, Blackburn 1. Villa never really got going in this one, although they do finish in the top 6 for a 3rd straight season. They couldn't end on a high. Blackburn stole it in the last few minutes. Martin Olsen's cross. Junior Howlett got in front of his marker, Richard Dunn. Dunn actually got the header, but it could only glance it past Friedel, who was stranded. Paul Robinson was excellent in the Blackburn goal. 4 quality saves. There was a fine debut from Grant Hanley in defence, but Blackburn and Villa should have had a penalty earlier. And Aston Villa, well, they have a summer where they have doubts over Martin O'Neill. Will he get the money from Randy Lerner?
And to the Reebok Stadium, James Mason full-time there as well.
Yes, Bolton 2, Birmingham City 1, a decent and full-blooded affair despite the game's limited significance. It was Bolton's Kevin Davies who opened the scoring in the first half before Ivan Klasnic doubled their advantage in the second. James McFadden scored a close-range consolation, but Owen Coyle's men held out, and his decision to switch from relegated Burnley means he can start planning for life next season in the Premier League. Birmingham fans must consider their season to be a huge success, but a run of 5 defeats will slightly sour Alex McLeish's cocktails on the beach this summer. Bolton 2, Birmingham City 1.
OK, time now to get the full classified results with Tim Gudgin.
In the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal 4, Fulham 0. Aston Villa 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Bolton Wanderers 2, Birmingham City 1. Burnley 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Chelsea 8, Wigan Athletic 0. Everton 1, Portsmouth 0. Hull City 0, Liverpool 0. Manchester United 4, Stoke City 0. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Sunderland 1. In the Coca-Cola Championship playoff semi-final, the first leg, Leicester City 0, Cardiff City 1. In the Clydesdale-Bank Scottish Premier League, Dundee United 0, Hibernian 2. Hearts 1, Celtic 2. And Rangers 3, Motherwell 3. The FA Carlsberg Vase final, Whitley Bay 6, Wroxham 1.
So, confirmation for you. Chelsea finish a point clear of Manchester United to clinch their 3rd Premier League title. And their 8-0 thrashing of Wigan means they end with an incredible goal difference of +71, which is a top-flight record. Arsenal made sure of a top-3 finish by beating Fulham 4-0. Spurs, who of course lost at Burnley, were 5 points further behind and will have to qualify for the Champions League group stages. Manchester City, Aston Villa and Liverpool already booked their places in next season's Europa League. At the bottom, Portsmouth ended their 7-year stay in the Premier League with a 1-0 defeat at Everton. Hull held Liverpool, but they finished below Burnley, who said farewell to the top flight with a fine win over Spurs. And just to confirm the SPL for you, which finished at lunchtime, Rangers 6 points ahead of Celtic after being held at home by Motherwell. Despite their 3-3 draw, Motherwell miss out on 4th spot, with Hibs clinching a European place after winning at Dundee United. Motherwell will now have to rely on Dundee United winning the Scottish Cup final to get into Europe. At the other end, Falkirk were relegated yesterday after failing to beat Kilmarnock. And you can see all of today's Premier League action on Match of the Day tonight at BBC One at 10:25 with Gary and the Allens. And if you're lucky, they might even predict the new cabinet for you. OK, let's have a little look then at the scenes at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, our champions, a point away from Manchester United. It was a tight finish, but today nothing tight about the scoreline. 8-0 they beat Wigan there. And here's their league titles record for you. Let's have a little look. It's their 4th league title, 55, 2005, 2006 and 2010. Of course, United had won it the last 3 seasons before this. And Sir Alex Ferguson has been talking about that on the pitch at Old Trafford.
Fantastic. Today, we'll take it to the wire. Next season, we'll go again and hopefully bring back the title to the best place in the world. Thank you.
And these are the scenes at Chelsea. 8-0 winners over Wigan. A title is theirs tonight. It's been a hard-fought season and brilliant scenes and celebrations as well for Didier Drogba. Eventually he got those goals, didn't he? He got the golden boot. No need for a recount on that one. Let's have a little look then and confirmation for you. 29 goals for the season. Wayne Rooney, 26, 3 goals behind, and he went off to boot with a groin injury, we think. We're going to get an update on that a little bit later on, but no goals from Wayne Rooney today, 3 for Didier Drogba. Well done to Didier, well done to Chelsea. Let's get some of the action from lunchtime in the first leg playoff between Leicester and Cardiff City. Of course, both these teams want to be Premier League teams next season. Today was the first leg. Dan O'Hagan is your commentator.
There goes Chris Burke. Burke's cross deflects here for Chopra, hits the post. Michael Chopra denied by the frame of Leicester's goal. Good work from Chris Burke, and beat the keeper, but comes back off the face of the post. McNaughton's cross. Oh, Bothroyd! Will's fingertips in the way. Does the keeper get a touch on this? He does, doesn't he? Whittingham does go for goal and scores! 21 goals this season now in the league for Whittingham, and that might be the most precious of the lot. Leicester 0, Cardiff 1. Solano. Here's Matty Fryatt for Leicester. Fryatt still. Here's the chance. Fryatt denied by the goalkeeper. Matt Fryatt looking for his first goal since Boxing Day after injury. Denied by the sprawling, spreading David Marshall. This will be the last Leicester chance. Gallagher's corner sent in. Great delivery, stunning save. What a save, David Marshall. Denies Leicester a cast-iron equaliser. Well, this will be the last chance. In it goes, away it goes. And there's the whistle. Cardiff take a lead back to Wales.
Don't forget, you can get a full roundup of all the weekend's league action affecting your area on late kick-off tomorrow, BBC One at 11:20 p.m. And highlights of all the playoffs continue on Wednesday and go right through to the finals on the bank holiday weekend, all covered on the BBC. But let's head over to Stamford Bridge because the Premier League trophy has made its way out onto the pitch, and it's being escorted by a member of Her Majesty's Services, I think. It's ready at the moment. They're the players and the staff all coming out onto the pitch to take their moment. It's a long season, Les, and this is, you know, a great moment for the friends and families. We've seen all the kids being brought onto the pitch and all that hard work. It's all worth it.
Yeah, great end for Chelsea, you know. Congratulations to Chelsea. They've been magnificent all season. And thoroughly deserve it. I think it's how many 7-0 home wins, and
yeah, well, 3-7 and 1-8.
You know, so you know that's fantastic. And
well, Ray Wilkins is only just making his way up. It's going to be a while before the rest of the players come up there. But they all, you know, Gary, it's a team game, isn't it? This is the backroom staff, the people who kind of really make a difference.
Yeah,
and
I think going back to Mourinho's days, I think he wanted to make sure that his staff all enjoyed this occasion. It's something that I think the club's embraced, and I think it's fantastic. It takes a lot of people behind the scenes to get the whole machine in motion, and it's not just the players out there who are getting everything right. So it's great to see the staff getting the accolades as well, but I'm sure there'll be a bigger cheer once the players come out.
We kind of move on from the Mourinho era today, don't we? This is a real turning point in a way, because this is, you know, maybe it's not Ancelotti's team, he didn't put it together, Garth, but perhaps a new era starts.
Well, it certainly wasn't Scolari's team, and the man that I think started the ball rolling in the right direction again for Chelsea was Gudgin. Yeah. And Malouda came really of age. He was a great player in France, but when he came to England, he found it difficult. He's actually shone and been probably my best player this season for Chelsea. And I suppose, you know, as I said before, because they've got the points, they've proved that they are the best team. They've got the championship. Gary's been there. And when I was watching those pictures, I was a little envious, because to win that championship is massive. And congratulations to them.
And what about, you know, he mentioned it again, Mourinho, didn't he, when he, you know, was stoking the fire a little bit when he came over, that he was the last manager that had got Chelsea the league, and you can't say that anymore, you know.
Well, he keeps saying about my players, doesn't he?
Yeah,
as well,
well, you know, and arguably there's still a certain amount of fondness there, but they're not his players anymore. This is Ancelotti, and, you know, some were saying because of his performance in Europe that maybe his job was under threat, because we know how much the owner wants Europe, but this is a turning point perhaps for Chelsea.
Yeah, and as I said, Abramovich, I mean, yes, he wants to win the European Champions League, but he also wanted to see more entertaining football at Chelsea. Now, they provided that to score 102, 103 goals or whatever it is. Shows that that's changed. He's, he's done this season without the likes of Essien as well.
Yes.
For a lot of this season, which is a huge. Carvalho's been such a rock at the back there with John Terry. John Terry's had his issues and his loss of form as well to deal with. Ashley Cole's had his problems, but they've managed somehow with the team spirit they've got, which Ancelotti's been at the forefront of, to get through.
And one thing we all know as pros that team players have to respond to the manager. If the manager has a problem with that dressing room, it is a hell of a job to get them to play for you and certainly to win for you a title. Ancelotti, whatever anyone might say whose team it is, the players have responded to him. So all credit to him.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years, hasn't it, for Chelsea? You mentioned it earlier on, one of you, that perhaps this summer there will be a few new personnel, and I think it was alluded to as well by a reporter there, Roger Johnson, that maybe this is the last kind of time this team will play together like this, because a few of them moving on, sort of like Joe Cole moving on, a few of the players getting a bit older. Do you see?
Michael
Ballack. Do you see some new faces coming in there this summer?
I do. I think both managers will look at, even Ancelotti, yes, they've won it, they're possibly going to do the double, but I think he'd be looking at, we've lost 6 games. Alex Ferguson's talked over the years that if you lose that amount of games, you can't win the title. It's proved that you can this year, but there's been problems. There's been problems there.
OK, let's go over to Stamford Bridge. Guy Mowbray is there for us. Guy.
And the Premier League winning party has well and truly started at Stamford Bridge. In truth, it began as soon as Chelsea scored their second goal and Wigan were down to 10 men. From then on, it got better and better. The ground has literally been bouncing as every fan has been jumping up and down. The stands have been shaking. The injured players here are coming up to receive their medals. Ricardo Carvalho, John Obi Mikel before him. Alex has played today. He's winning the Premier League for the first time. Michael Essien, a great cheer for him. He was part of the title-winning team in 2006. He's not been able to play as big a part as he would have liked to this season. Salomon Kalou has, certainly in the latter part of the campaign. Remember his hat-trick against Stoke just a couple of weeks ago, and he scored again today. Michael Ballack, there is a thought that he might be saying farewell to Stamford Bridge in the summer. Well, he played a really key part today. He got the team together before the second half started when it was 2-0. He made sure there were to be no more slip-ups. Didier Drogba, a tremendous cheer for him. The first half was spent with him in a bit of a sulk. He didn't take the penalty that Lampard scored to make it 2-0. He wanted to desperately. He didn't just want that trophy, he wanted the golden boot that he's got with his hat-trick this afternoon. What a second half he had. Ditto Frank Lampard, who's had another superb game to crown a superb season, and that's the loudest cheer yet for Frank Lampard. A season that's ended with him scoring 27 goals, with 1 game to go, of course, the FA Cup final against Portsmouth to come. And what about John Terry? He takes the hand of Richard Scudamore, and then of Bob Diamond, the president of Barclays, who's a Chelsea fan. And he is going to hand over the trophy to the Chelsea captain, John Terry. It's the trophy lift that means that Chelsea are the champions again.
Well, we're going to continue on the red button, looking back at this brilliant season for Chelsea. The Blues have done it, no need for an alliance. Chelsea are the Premier League title holders.